The room is cold before dawn. No light enters. The floor is bare. You sit alone with the weight of your own breath, and in that silence, you understand. This is where all wars begin. Not in the field, not against another. Here, in the space between what you are and what you refuse to become. Miyamoto Musashi walked alone for most of his life. No master, no school, no comfort waiting at the end of each day. He learned the sword by facing death, again and again, until death became familiar. 60 duels. 60 moments where hesitation would have ended him. He did not hesitate. That is the only lesson. Most men do not fight 60 duels. Most men fight one duel every single morning, the duel against their own weakness. And most men lose. They lose before they rise. They lose when they reach for the phone instead of the floor. They lose when they choose the warm thought over the cold action. They lose in silence, where no one sees, where no record is kept. But the body keeps the record. The mind keeps the record. You know this. You have felt it. The slow erosion, the days that slip past without resistance, the promises you made in the dark that dissolved by noon. This is not failure. This is surrender. And surrender, repeated, becomes your identity. Musashi did not surrender. Not to comfort, not to reputation, not to the idea that he had already won enough. After his final duel, he disappeared into the mountains. He wrote, he painted, he refined what he knew into something sharper than any blade. He did not retire. He did not celebrate. He continued. There is no finish line in this war. That is the first illusion you must destroy. You are not working toward a day when discipline is no longer required. You are working toward a life where discipline is the structure, the rhythm, the breath. You do not arrive. You walk. The sword becomes lighter, not because the sword changes, but because the hand changes. Repetition does not make the task easier. It makes you harder, stronger, less vulnerable to the weight. This is the transformation, not the world bending to you. You, forged into something that doesn't bend. Consider the blade. It is made in fire, folded, struck, folded again, thousands of times. The steel does not complain. It does not ask for rest. It becomes what it must become because the hammer does not stop. You are both the steel and the hammer. You must strike yourself into shape. Musashi understood this. His life was the hammer. Every duel, every refusal, every morning he woke in a cave or a temple or an empty field, alone, with nothing but his will and the path ahead. He did not wait for inspiration. He did not wait for clarity. He moved, and in moving, clarity came. This is the principle. Action precedes understanding. You do not think your way into discipline. You act your way into it. The mind resists. The mind offers 10,000 reasons to delay, to reconsider, to choose comfort. The body does not argue. The body obeys, or it does not. You must become the master of your body, or your body will remain the master of you. Most men are ruled by sensation, the pull of warmth, the lure of ease, the whisper that says, tomorrow, tomorrow you will be stronger. Tomorrow you will begin. But tomorrow is a lie. Tomorrow does not exist. There is only this moment, this floor, this breath. And in this moment, you are either moving or you are not. Musashi moved. At 13, he killed a man in a duel. Not because he was ready, because the duel was there. At 16, he killed again. At 21, he fought in a war. At 29, he faced Sasaki Kojiro, the greatest swordsman in Japan, and killed him with a wooden sword carved from an oar. He did not wait until he felt prepared. He prepared by walking toward what would test him. You do not need 60 duels. You need one. The duel against the voice that says, you are not enough. The voice that says, this is too hard, too cold, too early, too much. That voice will never be silent. It will speak every day for the rest of your life. The only question is, will you obey it, or will you act in spite of it? Musashi lived in caves. He refused titles. He rejected students who sought him for fame. He wanted nothing that would soften him. He understood that comfort is corrosive. It does not kill you quickly. It kills you slowly, by degrees, until you wake one day and realize you have become someone you do not recognize. Someone soft, someone who flinches. Do not flinch. The world will test you, not with swords, with choices, small choices. The choice to rise or to stay down. The choice to speak or to stay silent. The choice to act or to wait. These are your duels, and you fight them alone, in rooms no one else will enter, at hours no one else will see. This is the path. There is no applause here. No one is watching. No one will congratulate you for choosing the hard thing when the easy thing was within reach. But you will know, and that knowing will change you. It will harden you. It will make you into something that cannot be broken by circumstance, by failure, by the weight of days. The mountain does not move because the wind blows. The stone does not erode because the rain falls once. It erodes over time, over years, over centuries. You are not the wind. You are the stone. And the only force strong enough to shape you is the one you apply to yourself every day, without exception. Musashi did not train when he felt like it. He trained because training was the structure. The discipline was not a tool he used to achieve something else. The discipline was the thing itself. The goal was to become someone for whom discipline was no longer effortful. Someone for whom the hard thing was simply the thing. You are not there yet. You may never be there, but that is not the failure. The failure is to stop walking. The failure is to mistake stillness for peace. Stillness is only peace when it is chosen, when it is the result of exhaustion earned through action, through resistance, through the deliberate application of will against entropy. Entropy is the default. Things fall apart. Bodies weaken. Minds drift. The sword rusts if it is not maintained. You rust if you are not maintained. Maintenance is not optional. It is the cost of remaining sharp. Musashi maintained himself until the very end. In his final years, alone in a cave, he wrote what he knew. Not for fame, not for legacy, because the act of writing was a form of discipline. The act of refining his understanding was the work. He did not stop working. He changed the work, but he did not stop. You cannot stop, not because you will lose what you have built, though you will, but because stopping is a choice to return to what you were, and what you were is not enough. You know this. You have always known this. That is why you are here, reading these words, searching for something that will ignite the part of you that refuses to be ordinary. But there is no ignition. There is only the slow burn, the decision, made again and again, to choose discomfort over ease, to choose the cold floor over the warm bed, to choose the silence over the noise, to choose yourself, the version of yourself that exists only when you are alone, stripped of performance, stripped of audience, stripped of everything except the raw will to continue. This is the war. It is not fought once. It is fought every morning, every moment. And the enemy is not outside. The enemy is the part of you that wants to quit, the part that says, "This is enough," the part that whispers, "Rest." You have earned it, but you have not earned it. Not yet. Not until the work is done, and the work is never done. Musashi knew this. He carried two swords, not because one was not enough, but because mastery requires redundancy, because the warrior who relies on a single tool is vulnerable. You must develop every part of yourself: mind, body, will, spirit. You must sharpen each edge until there is no weakness left to exploit. The world will exploit your weakness. It will find the gap in your defense and strike there, again and again, until you close the gap or you break. Most men break. They break because they never trained for the strike. They never imagined that life would test them at their weakest point. But life always tests you at your weakest point. That is the nature of conflict. That is the nature of growth. So you must train where you are weakest. You must face what you fear. You must walk toward the discomfort until it no longer controls you. This is not courage. This is necessity. Courage is optional. Necessity is the law. Musashi faced every swordsman who challenged him, not because he wanted to, because refusal would have been weakness, and weakness, once allowed, spreads. It infects. It justifies itself. It whispers that one refusal is reasonable, that one compromise is harmless. But one becomes 10. 10 becomes 100. And eventually, you are someone who only refuses, who only compromises, who only chooses the path of least resistance. Resistance is the path, not the obstacle. The path. You do not avoid resistance. You walk toward it. You seek it. Because resistance is the only force that can change you. Comfort cannot change you. Comfort can only preserve what you are. And what you are is not enough. The sword is not forged in comfort. The sword is forged in fire. And you are the sword. Every day, you place yourself in the fire. Every day, you strike yourself into a new shape. And every day, you become something harder, sharper, more refined, or you do not. There is no middle ground. You are either forging yourself, or you are rusting. Musashi forged himself until there was nothing left to remove. He stripped away everything that was not essential. He lived with nothing. He wanted nothing. He became the pure expression of his discipline. And in that purity, he found a kind of freedom that most men never know. The freedom that comes from needing nothing, from fearing nothing, from being complete within yourself. You are not complete. Not yet, but you can be. The path is clear. It has always been clear. You simply have not walked it. You have circled it. You have studied it. You have imagined what it would be like to walk it. But imagination is not action. Thought is not movement. You must move. Now. Not later. Now. The sun will rise whether you are ready or not. The day will pass whether you use it or waste it. Time does not wait for you to feel prepared. Time does not care about your intentions. Time measures only what you did. And at the end, when you look back, you will see the shape of your life carved into the hours you spent. Those hours will either show discipline or they will show decay. There is no third option. Musashi's life shows discipline. Every hour, every choice, every refusal. He did not live for comfort. He lived for mastery. And mastery requires everything. It requires the surrender of ease, of safety, of the soft illusions that make life bearable for most men. But Musashi was not most men, and you are not most men. Or you would not be here. You would not be reading this. You would be asleep, comfortable, untroubled. But you are troubled. You are troubled because you know, deep in the part of yourself you cannot lie to, that you are capable of more, that you have been given a life and you have not yet lived it fully, that you have been given a will and you have not yet tested its limits, that you have been given time and you have let it slip through your hands like water. You cannot reclaim what is lost, but you can claim what remains, starting now, starting with the next breath, the next choice, the next step. This is not a call to perfection. This is a call to movement, to action, to the deliberate, relentless application of will against the forces that would keep you soft, keep you weak, keep you small. Musashi refused to be small. He refused to be ordinary. He refused every limitation except the ones he imposed on himself. And the limitations he imposed were the structure within which he became free. This is the paradox. Discipline is freedom. Restriction is expansion. The sword that is sharpest is the one that has been reduced to its edge. You must reduce yourself to your edge. Strip away everything that does not serve your purpose, every distraction, every comfort, every excuse. What remains will be sharp. What remains will be true. And what remains will be enough to cut through everything that stands between you and the life you were meant to live. There is no end to this. There is no arrival. There is only the path, and the path is walked alone, in silence, in the cold, in the dark, one step after another, until the very end. Musashi walked it, and so must you.